So last night on your flipped assignment, you learned about adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe nouns and pronouns. So there are two different kinds of adjectives. There are what we call, Ms. Bryan and I call them always adjectives because they always describe something. It will never stop describing this thing. Like for example, Siberian tiger. What kind of tiger is it? A Siberian tiger. It will always be a Siberian tiger. There will never be a point in the tiger's life when it won't be Siberian. Okay, and cat. What kind of cat is it? A Siamese cat. So Siamese will always describe what kind of cat it is. Okay, so these are what we like to call always adjectives. And then there's something called a temporary adjective. A temporary adjective, it still describes a noun, but it just describes it in a temporary state. So for example, the stinky sock. What kind of sock was it? Stinky. But it won't always be stinky, it's just stinky when we're describing it. And then the wrinkly shirt. What kind of shirt is it? Wrinkly, okay? So you've got the always adjectives, that it's what it's made out of basically, and then you've got the temporary adjectives, okay? So when we're going to teach you when to use a comma with adjectives, okay? So when you have two temporary adjectives, you want to separate them with a comma. So for example, the stinky, comma, wrinkly shirt. Okay, this is it is a stinky shirt and it is a wrinkly shirt. So you've got to separate those two adjectives with a comma. Another example is, this is kind of funny, the sophomoric obnoxious student. Okay, what kind of student is it? It's a sophomoric student. It's also an obnoxious student. They're both describing the same thing, but they're both temporary adjectives, so you have to separate them with a comma. Now, you don't always use a comma between adjectives. When you have a combination of an always adjective and a temporary adjective, you don't separate them with a comma. So for example, the stinky Siberian tiger. What kind of tiger was it? A stinky tiger. What kind of tiger was it? A Siberian tiger. Both of these things described tiger, but you don't need a comma because you just don't need one. So another example would be the wrinkly Siamese cat. You have a temporary adjective and an always adjective, so you don't need a comma right there, okay? So sometimes when you have more than one adjective describing a noun, you need to put a hyphen in between them. So when two adjectives can't stand alone, they have to go together. You have to glue them together with a hyphen. So I'll show you an example. Off-campus apartment. Okay, so what kind of apartment was it? It was an off-campus apartment. Okay, can it be a campus apartment? No. Can it be an off apartment? No. So these two things can't stand alone, so you glue them together with a hyphen. Okay, so I'll give you another example. State of the art design. You probably heard this term before. What kind of design was it? A state-of-the-art design, okay? It's not an art design. It's not a the design. It's not an of design. It's not a state design. It's a state-of-the-art design. All of these things have to be glued together with hyphens, okay? All right, so now we're going to talk about adverbs. Okay, so as you learned in your brain pop video, adverbs answer the following questions: how, when, where, and to what extent. So for example, this adverb is going to modify how, okay? So, she mended the wound carefully. Okay, the subject is she, the verb is mended. How did she mend it? She mended it carefully. That's your adverb, okay? So that's a how adverb. This next one is going to be a when adverb. All right, she will finish tomorrow. All right, she is the subject, will finish is the verb. When will she finish? Tomorrow. That's the when adverb, okay? The next one is where, and you should have these in your notes. She got sick over there. All right, she is the subject, got sick is the verb, where? Over there. And that, since it's more than one word, it's an adverbial phrase. Okay, and then the next one is to what extent? Oops. To what extent? She screamed loudly. So she is the subject, screamed is the verb, and how did she scream? Loudly. So that shows you to what extent she screamed, okay? So adverbs, and you should have gotten this in your notes too, adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Okay, so an example of this would be, for verbs, verbs is number one. So the first example of this would be, I'm showing you the verbs example. She quickly scurried to the restroom. All right, so she is the subject, quickly is the verb. Oh wait, no, just kidding. Scurried is the verb, okay? How did she scurry? Quickly. So this adverb modified a verb, all right? So adjectives is number two. So I'm going to give you an example of an adverb modifying an adjective. So the woman is really pretty. Okay, so the woman is the subject, is the verb, and really pretty describes the woman. So what kind of woman is she? She's a pretty woman. And then really tells you how pretty she is. So this acts as an adverb that modifies how pretty she is, or to what extent she is pretty. Okay, so this is an example of an adverb that modifies an adjective. So pretty describes woman and really describes pretty. Okay, so the next one, other adverbs. So the weather report is almost always right. Okay, so the subject is the weather report, and is the verb. And so right describes weather report. Always describes right, and almost describes always. So this is an adjective. I know this seems confusing, but just hang in there. Right is an adjective that describes weather report. Always is an adverb that describes the adjective, and almost is an adverb that describes this adverb, okay? So adverbs can modify other adverbs, okay? So this is an adjective. This is an adverb. Adverb. And this is an adverb that's modifying another adverb, okay? So if you don't understand this, then talk to me when we come back and I can explain it. But that's pretty easy. Okay, and then next I will do conjunctions. 4 different types of conjunctions. The first type is coordinating. So, fanboys should look familiar to you. He brought it up in the video. I know she's taught you this. It joins words or phrases or clauses together in a sentence. Okay, like for example, cookies and cream. Because cookies and cream go together, this conjunction can be and bring them together. Or like, I haven't brushed my teeth, but my breath smells fine. Okay, so this is just the conjunction that joins these 2 clauses together. The next one is subordinating. So they are most often transition words, and they link 2 clauses together. So like here's an example. Although I'm tired, I'll still go out. So both of these clauses are independent, and that just means they can stand alone. So if you cover this up, I'll still go out is a complete sentence. Or if you cover this up, I'm tired, that's still a sentence. But you can put them together, and this one becomes subordinate when you put this transition word with it. So subordinate, I know Miss Bryan has talked to you about this before, but subordinate just means it comes under or it's dependent on. Like, I am Miss Dennis's subordinate. You are my subordinate. You come under me. I come under Mrs. Dennis's authority, and I'm dependent on her and what she says. So I am Miss Dennis's subordinate. So this clause becomes this clause's subordinate because this depends on this. Okay, so then there's correlative. So these are really fun. They're pairs of conjunctions which are used to join equal sentence elements together. So it's a pair of 2 conjunctions that go together in a sentence. Like for example, either or, neither nor. So either be quiet or I'll send you to the office. So these are phrases that are linked together between either and or. Or here's another example. He was neither nice nor kind. And then this last one, conjunctive adverbs. These are however, therefore, moreover, and nonetheless. So they just describe things today. I like pizza, however, Domino's makes me sick. So it joins 2 independent clauses together with a semicolon today. There you go.
Conjunctions are hilarious.
Yep, you're welcome.
You cannot stick them together with a comma. They are special.
Right.
Okay? So you have to use a semicolon. You cannot say, I like pizza, comma, however, comma. Gotta have a semicolon. And back to coordinating conjunctions, you have to join words and words, or phrases with phrases, or clauses with clauses. That's what makes them coordinate. They are called coordinating because they go together, the same parts of a sentence. Right.
It's like Noah's Ark. 2 animals have to go together. Okay,
Exactly.
so write this down. Clause plus clause, phrase plus phrase, words plus words. Those have to go together with coordinating conjunctions.